Welcome to Flow Made Simple. In today's level 1 mace flow workout, we are building the Grounded Guardian Flow, which combines 4 main moves: the shield, the crouching tiger joust, the arrow, and the lateral swing, all into one flow, which we are gonna build across 7 total rounds, so you can learn each movement individually before we string it into the full flow. So now grab your mace and we'll get flowing. Now the first move in today's workout is the shield, and more specifically, we are going to add the shield in with a lateral lunge, and this mini flow is often called the night shield flow. And to demonstrate, before we do the round together, I'll come into warrior stance, bringing one hand to the top of the mace, opposite leg out, into nice lateral lunge. From here, I'll pull the mace in towards my center, pivot into front lunge, and then press forward, exhaling as I do so. Finally, I'll pull the mace in, return back to center, and then I'm ready for it on the other side. So I'll do a simple prayer switch, pull the mace in, pivot and shield, and then back to the front. And that is going to be our first round. So you can grab your mace and join me. I'll face away so it's easier to follow along. Both hands bottom of the mace, right hand top of the mace. Left leg out, lateral lunge. Exhaling out, pull the mace in, pivot right, shield. Bring the mace back in towards the body, back to the front. Prayer switch. Pull the mace in, pivot left, shield. Bring the mace back in, back to the front. Same thing, prayer switch. Pull in, pivot, shield. Bring the mace back in, back to the front. Prayer switch the mace. Pivot left, shield. Bring the mace back in, back to the front. Switch. Pivot right, shield. Back to the front. Switch. Pivot left, shield. Center. Switch. Pivot right, shield. Center. Switch. Pivot left, shield. Center. Switch. Pivot right. Shield. Back to center. Switch. Pivot left. Center. Switch. Pivot right. Center. Switch. Pivot left. Center. Switch. Pivot right. Center. Switch. Pivot left. Center. Switch. Pivot right. Center. Switch. Pivot left. Center. One more on each side. Switch. Pivot right. Center. Switch. Pivot left. Back to center. And you can push back to warrior stance. Very nicely done. That, believe it or not, was round 1. That was our very first movement. And now you can set that aside, and I'm going to demonstrate our round 2. Round 2 is going to include a movement called the crouching tiger joust. Now, this is a really cool movement. It's an explosive one. And what it looks like, I'm going to be starting from warrior stance. Again, I'll bring one hand top of the mace, opposite leg out to that same lateral lunge. Next, I'll bring the mace up across my body so that the balance point of the mace is close to my own center of gravity. It's near my heart. My tail hand can be gripping between thumb and forefinger, but it's not necessary to grip with the whole hand. You'll see why in a second. From here, I'm going to pivot as I pull the mace across the body into front lunge. And then I'll extend the mace out like so. And you can begin by going slow, and then you can speed it up. And you can see I also release the mace out in front of my hand a little bit, and then I'll draw it back in to reset. And then I'll simply drop it down, prayer switch, bring it up in that same position, center of gravity of the mace near my own, pivot and joust. And there you go. And that's it. Now, one quick note for anyone who's a little more advanced. To get more out of this movement, the power comes through the hips. So as I go from lateral lunge to front lunge, I want to be internally rotating the bent leg in my lateral lunge and externally rotating the straight leg of my lateral lunge. So leg comes in, leg goes out, and I'm looking to create that nice snap, really engage the muscles of my hips, keep my core engaged so I can project all that energy out through the mace. That's what we're going for. So with that said, you can now join me for round 2. Both hands bottom of the mace. Right hand top of the mace. Left leg out to the side, lateral lunge. Now we're gonna start by going a little more slowly just for a few reps. So I'm gonna pull the mace up so it's near my heart. I'm gonna pull the mace in across the body, pivot right, joust. And then reset, pull it back in towards the body, extend it again, and joust. Reset, joust. 2 more slow repetitions. Reset, joust. Reset, and joust. Beautiful, reset, and this time you can speed things up a little bit. That's what I'm going to do. So pivot, joust. Reset, 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 joust. One more, joust. Bring it back up, drop it down, back to that initial posture, and then simply prayer switch to the other side. Remaining in lateral lunge, bring the hand up. So I'm loading the mace on the other side. Again, we'll start with a few slow repetitions. So pull the mace in across the body, pivot to front lunge, joust. Bring it back, reset, joust. Reset, joust. Reset, joust. Reset, joust. One more slow, joust. Beautiful, reset. Now you can speed it up if you'd like to. Joust, reset, 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 joust, 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 joust. 2 more, joust. Last one, reset, drop the mace down, and push back to warrior stance. Nicely done. I don't know about you, but that gets my heart rate up. Very nicely done. Those are 2 rounds. And now we're gonna move right along here into round 3, which will combine both of those together. So I'm gonna take 1 breath, nice and slow for myself, and then I'll teach you. All right, have to catch my breath somehow, right? So next round here, you can just watch and then we'll do it together. It's gonna look like this. I'm gonna go from warrior stance, 1 hand top of the mace, opposite leg out, just like we've done. Lateral lunge. Now we're gonna do the shield. So I'm gonna pivot, shield. Next, I'm gonna bring the mace in and then joust. Bring it up, drop it down, switch, pull it in, pivot, shield. Bring the mace in, joust. And you can see the flow we're creating. So the shield is meant to be a nice, strong, powerful landmark. And then I'll bring the mace in. I really want to load myself. That's why I'm bending the opposite leg, coming back in a lateral lunge. And then I'll pivot and snap into that joust and project all of that energy. So that is round 3. And now you can join me. So I'll come back to warrior stance. Both hands bottom of the mace, right hand top of the mace. Left leg steps out to the side, ladder lunge. Pull the mace in towards the body, pivot right, shield. Beautiful. From there, bring it back in towards the body into that crouching tiger, reset position, and then pivot again and joust. Reset, drop it down, prayer switch. Pull the mace in, pivot and shield. Towards the left. Bring the mace back in, reset for crouching tiger, joust. Bring the mace back in, reset, drop it down, prayer switch. From there, pull the mace in, pivot right, shield. Bring it in, joust. Reset, drop it down, prayer switch. Pivot left, shield. Bring it in for crouching tiger, joust. Bring it in, drop it down. Switch. Pivot right, shield. Bring it in for the crouching tiger and joust. Reset, drop it down, switch. Pivot left, shield. Bring it in, joust. Reset, drop it down. Switch. Pivot right, shield. Bring it into crouching tiger, joust. Bring it in, drop it down. Switch. Pivot left, shield. Bring it into crouching tiger, joust. Drop it down. Switch. Bring it up. Oh, so sorry. Pull in, pivot right, shield. Bring it back in, joust. Bring it back, drop it down. Switch. Pivot left, shield. Bring it in, joust. Drop it down, one more on each side. Prayer switch. Pivot, shield. Bring it in, joust. Beautiful, drop it down, switch. Last rep, pivot left, shield. Bring it in, joust. Beautiful, drop it down and push back to warrior stance. And there you are, my friends, well done. Those are the first 3 rounds, and that is really the first half of the flow. So here's what you can expect next. We are going to switch things up to do the arrow and the lateral swing. Then we'll wrap those together. And then our final round today in this video is going to be putting everything together into one flow, the grounded guardian. Now, if you're catching your breath a little bit like I am, and you're taking a second, I would like you to know that if you love this kind of workout, you love this kind of approach towards the Steel Mace, I have a free ebook, 57 pages long, covering all Steel Mace Essentials. Brings you through a 14-day course. It's totally free. The link is in the description down below. Again, if you're taking a rest, need something to do, you can grab that ebook real quick. And otherwise, we'll push on to our next round here. So, we've done 2 movements. Now we're doing the other 2. Next one up is the arrow. So the arrow looks like this. I'm gonna start just with a tall position, standing position. Bring one hand to the top of the mace, bring it out to the side. And from here, you can see that I am keeping the mace roughly hip towards opposite shoulder. I wanna make sure I have nice, strong posture here. And next, I'm gonna do a half arrow. And this is what I recommend a lot of beginners start with because it puts the heavy end of the mace right over the elbow. Very easy to control and very easy to add a tension field where you squeeze your hands towards one another and engage the bicep. Next thing you can do, if you're ready for a little more challenge, is to extend the mace out into full arrow. I wanna have my palm facing up, tail hand pulling in towards my clavicle, and from there, you can simply bring the mace in, prayer switch, half arrow, or full arrow. And that is what we're going to do. So that was the quick demonstration, and now you can grab your mace and join me. So you can come into warrior stance, just in a nice tall position to learn this movement with. Right hand top of the mace, bring it down hip to shoulder. From here, extend the mace out to the side, either half arrow or full arrow. Don't tip over. I want to keep a really nice, strong, engaged core. And then bring the mace in, prayer switch to the other side. Again, half arrow or full arrow. Bring it in, switch, half arrow, full arrow. Bring it in, switch, half arrow, full arrow. Bring it in, switch, half arrow, full arrow. Remember that palm faces up in full arrow. Bring it in, switch, half arrow, full arrow. Bring it in, switch, half arrow or full arrow. Bring it in, switch, half arrow, full arrow. Beautiful. You can bring it back towards warrior stance, and we're not done with this round yet. Now we're gonna add a little bit of lower body. So you can shift to the side of your movement space just like I did. I'm gonna bring one hand top of the mace, opposite leg out, ladder lunge, just like we've been doing. From here, I'm gonna prayer switch the mace over the front leg, half arrow or full arrow. And then from there, I'm just gonna bring the mace in, prayer switch, bending the opposite leg and firing an arrow over the other leg. And then prayer switch, switching which leg is bent, prayer switch. I always wanna have my arrow over a bent leg for this flow. Switch, switch, switch. Go low if you can, nice and slow. You can go at your own pace here if this is a little too fast for you. Again, nice tall posture. Want to make sure that I'm really nice and engaged through my core so my shoulder can be stable. Beautiful. We're going to do one more on each side. Here we go. One. Bring it in, and two. Bring it back into warrior stance, and rest. Nicely done. Now that one you probably noticed is a little bit less cardiovascularly intensive and more really demands quite a bit from the shoulders and even from the bicep. I highly recommend that you start with the half arrow, move into the full arrow when you're confident, and if while you're doing volume of full arrows you get tired, pull it back into half arrows, because it's just gonna be a better experience for you. You're gonna build more strength and stability if you're working just within the realm, just within the edge of your comfort zone. You don't wanna push too far out of your comfort zone with a move like the arrow. So from there, we are now going to push into our fifth round, I think, if my math is continuing, if my brain is keeping up. And that one is gonna be a lateral swing, which looks like this. I'm gonna swing out to the side, switch hands, like so. I love this move. It's one of my all-time favorites. I use it in warm-ups. I use it to prime my coordination. I also like teaching it to people for their 360s when they're starting out, just so they get the idea of swinging the mace. Now to perform the lateral swing, really nice and simple. I'm gonna bring one hand to the top of the knurling of my mace. I'm gonna bring it out to the side, so it's next to the side of my body. I can also open my chest a little bit towards the mace. And then I'm going to tuck the tail behind my arm and behind my body, point the head straight out and swing to the other side and catch. Tail goes behind the arm, behind the body, swing out and catch. And that's what it looks like. Now we're about to do it together, but there's one more thing that you have to know. Actually, I suppose two. You're not snapping your arm out, and you're also not pointing the head down and kind of trying to like let the mace head just fall. I want to make this as graceful as I can. So I'm pushing the head straight out, letting it swing across, and letting the centrifugal force build. I want to have a straight arm throughout most of this particular movement and turn my body with the mace. It's a very simple movement, but a nuanced one. So let's do it together. We're going to come back into warrior stance, both hands bottom of the mace. Right hand comes to the top of the knurling, and I'm just going to tilt my chest, tilt my body slightly towards the side of the mace. Tuck the tail behind the body, behind the arm, head points out, swing and catch. Behind, head points out, swing and catch. Swing and catch. Tail behind, head points out. You can continue at your own pace if you feel comfortable with this. For anyone who's watching this and still feels confused, I'm just gonna keep calling out those cues. So again, tail behind the body, behind the arm, head points straight to the side, falls down and swings across, and then you catch it. Tail behind, head out. Tail behind, swing. Tail behind, swing. Tail behind, swing. And continue. I almost want to think of this like a grandfather clock. Like I'm trying to make this really nice smooth pendulum in a very controlled manner as I go through. So you can do a few more wherever you are. Nice little recovery round before we go into our last 2 final rounds here. You can do 1 more on each side. Very nice. And from there, you can just take a quick rest. Now, those last 2 rounds are relatively easy because we didn't have too much of the lower body engaged throughout most of it. But now we're about to switch the flip the script on that, as I meant to say. And we're gonna be having the whole body working on these last 2 rounds. So next up, we're gonna combine the arrow and the lateral swing. So I'll show you what that looks like. Go from warrior stance, of course, lateral lunge. I'm gonna perform my arrow, or half arrow if you'd like to, and then I'm going to pull the mace in, grab with that tail hand, slides up, top of the knurling, stand up, swing, catch the top of the mace, step out, and then prayer switch to half arrow or full arrow, bring the mace in, lateral swing, catch, step out, switch to arrow. And that is going to be our second to last round here, round 6. So you can join me here. I'm gonna guide us through it. I'll do the first 1 or 2 on each side, nice and slow, so you can follow along. Then we'll speed it up. So right hand, top of the mace. I'm actually gonna stand towards the right side of my movement space. Actually, sorry, I'm gonna go back to the middle. Left leg out, lateral lunge. From there, prayer switch the mace into half arrow or full arrow. Bring the mace back in evenly across the body. Stand back up, slide the tail hand up to the top of the knurling. Tail behind, head points out, lateral swing. Catch near the head of the mace. Right leg out this time. Prayer switch to arrow, or half arrow. Stand back up, bringing your hand to the top of the knurling. Left hand gripping. Lateral swing. Right hand grips near the head of the mace. Step out left leg. Prayer switch to arrow. Bring it in across the body. Right hand slides up, grabs top of the knurling. Lateral swing. Left hand grabs the top of the mace. Step out right leg. Prayer switch to arrow. Now we'll continue. Slide the mace. Left hand gripping. Lateral swing. Right hand grips head. Left leg out. Prayer switch to arrow. Bring the mace in. Right hand grips. Lateral swing. Reconnect. Right leg out. Prayer switch to arrow. Bring the mace in. Left hand grips. Lateral swing. Right hand reconnects. Left leg out. Lateral lunge. Prayer switch to arrow. Bring the mace in. Right hand grips. Swing. Reconnect. Step out. Arrow. Bring the mace in. Left hand grips. Lateral swing. Reconnect. Left leg out to lateral lunge. Switch to arrow. Bring the mace in. Right hand grips. Swing. Left hand top of the mace. Switch to arrow. Bring the mace in. Left hand top of the knurling. Swing out, lateral swing. Right hand reconnects. Step out. Switch to arrow. Stand up. Right hand gripping. Lateral swing. Right leg out. Switch to arrow. Stand up. Left hand grips. Lateral swing. Left leg out. Switch. Arrow. Stand up. Right hand grips. Lateral swing. Right leg out. Switch to arrow. Bring it in. Left hand grips. Step out left leg. Arrow. Bring the mace in. Swing. Step out right leg. Switch to arrow. Bring it in. Left hand. Lateral swing. Step out left leg. Switch to arrow. Beautiful. Last one on each side. Right hand grips the mace. Swing. Step out right leg. Switch. Arrow. Bring it in. Left hand grips. Swing. Step out left leg. Switch to arrow. And from there you can bring it back to warrior stance and take that nice rest. Well done. That's probably the trickiest thing we've done so far in today's class. So, hope you're proud of yourself. Now, if that's feeling a little confusing, you can continue on to the last round because it's actually not that much harder than what we just did. but you also can go back and redo that round one more time to really get it down. And I would encourage you to do that, if not today, then another day. So, my friends of flow, you have reached it. This is the final round. For our final flow, the grounded guardian, we are going. This is what it looks like. Warrior stance, step out to lateral lunge, pivot, shield, bring it back in, joust. Beautiful, bring it in. I'm gonna actually switch into arrow, keeping that leg bent. And then bring it in, lateral swing, step out, just like we just did. Pivot and shield. Bring it in, joust. Bring it in, switch to arrow, bring it in, and lateral swing. And there you go. Now, before we do this round together, we're gonna finish off this workout here. There's one thing I want you to know. This flow is about owning our center line, hence grounded in the name. As we do this whole flow, and we're transitioning between stances, we're almost always in a lateral lunge or a front lunge, or we're standing up to move into it on the other side. So as we do this, I really want to make sure that I'm keeping good control of the mace by keeping it in close towards my body as I do the transition. So every time I'm transitioning the mace, I want to make sure that the center of gravity of the mace is near my own, and I call this the principle of expanding and contracting. It shows up in every single mace flow. So own your center line, stay grounded, really feel the solidness of your feet on the ground, and keep the macing close towards your body as you make those stance transitions. And that's gonna help you feel much more glued and much more on balance. So with that said, let's finish strong here. We're gonna come up into warrior stance, both hands bottom of the mace for a final round of the grounded guardian. Right hand top of the mace, left leg out, lateral lunge. From here, I'm gonna pivot towards the right, shield. Bring the mace in to crouching tiger, joust. Bring the mace in, drop the tail down to prayer switch into half arrow or full arrow. Bring the mace in, sliding the hand up to grip with the right hand, lateral swing, left hand reconnects. Now right leg out, into lateral lunge on the other side. Pull the mace in, pivot left, shield. Bring the mace in, joust. Bring it back to joust position, drop the tail, prayer switch, into arrow. Stand up back to center as you bring the mace in, slide the hand up, left hand grips. Lateral swing, left leg out. Pivot right, shield. Bring it in, joust. Back to the joust position. Prayer switch the mace to half arrow or full arrow. Bring it back to center. Right hand grips, lateral swing, step out. Pivot left, shield. Back into your crouching tiger, joust. Reset, drop the tail, prayer switch to arrow. Bring the mace in, left hand grips, swing. Step out left leg. Pivot right, shield. Bring it in to crouching tiger and joust. Reset, drop the tail, prayer switch. Bring it in, swing. Step out. Pivot left, shield. Bring it into the joust and joust. Reset, drop the tail, push to arrow. Stand up, swing. Step out left leg. Pivot right, shield. Bring it in, joust. Reset, drop the tail, switch to arrow. Bring it in, lateral swing. Step out right leg. Pivot left. Reset the mace and joust. Reset once more, drop the tail, push to arrow. Stand up, swing. Left leg out. Pivot right and shield. Bring it in, joust. Bring it in, drop the tail down, arrow. Stand up, lateral swing, last round. Last one on each side. Swing, step out right leg. Pivot left, shield. Bring it in, joust. Bring it in, arrow. Bring it in, lateral swing. Left leg out. Pivot right, shield. Bring it in, joust. Bring it in, switch to arrow. Bring it in, back to that original side, just as you did as we started the flow. And then push back to warrior stance. And rest. Very well done, my friends. That's an awesome flow. Comment your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear them. And before you take off, remember, there is that free ebook with more workouts and tutorials, best of my Flow Fridays articles. It's all for free, so you can get that at the link down below. Thank you so much for getting to sweat with me and finding flow, and may the mace be with you.